I'm gonna be in the kitchen today making chili. All right, guys, so this goes in the pot first. All right, olive oil, 2 tablespoons, or coat the bottom of the pan. If you have this kind of garlic, minced garlic, use it because you want to infuse it in the oil if you can. That's what you're doing with these flavors: garlic, onion, green pepper, and jalapeno. You're kind of infusing it into the oil, and then the oil cooks throughout the whole chili and kind of takes these flavors everywhere. Okay. But then, of course, diced tomatoes, and I use canned. I mean, I've cut up like 5 or 6 Roma tomatoes before, but it's really not necessary because even the Walmart brand, they can these things the same day they pick them. So they're really fresh. Diced tomatoes, black beans, cannellini beans. I like these white kidney beans the best because they hold up under cooking, like firmer than like pinto beans do. Great Northern beans is another option. But pinto, Great Northern, or cannellini, use white, and then your red. I alternate between light and dark red kidney beans. This time it's dark red. And then that's vegan. So this is actually a vegan recipe, okay? But I usually make it with either ground beef or chicken. And today I'm gonna make it easy and just take this white chunk chicken out of a can and make it with chicken, all right? Sometimes I throw chorizo in it with it as well because it just adds another flavor. But you're gonna think that this is what makes the chili. But what makes the chili is this table over here, okay? Everything on this table, except these 2 things in the back, which were gifts from my daughter, so you can ignore those. But I'm gonna go over all this stuff right now real quick, and then I'll do it again when I actually make it. But, of course, chili powder. I've got the dark chili powder. Use 4 teaspoons of that. Yeah, R2D2. Okay, so 4 teaspoons of chili powder. 1 teaspoon of each of these 3. Okay, basil, oregano, and cumin, ground cumin. Now, if you don't have the minced garlic, then just use garlic powder and use 1 teaspoon. So the garlic would go here if you didn't have the minced and you had the powder. It would be 1 teaspoon. Then half a teaspoon of salt, za'atar. I don't know if you've ever heard of za'atar. I'll show you how it's spelled because it's got an apostrophe in it. Half a teaspoon of that, and half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Yes, the Hershey's goes in. And this is why, and Frank's gonna understand why I use Hershey's. So I don't like sugar, and I don't like straight sugar. Yes, I can use a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of regular sugar, but I'd rather use chocolate because it has less sugar. I use 1 square of this, okay? Or 1 and a whatever, I'll use that little piece too, but basically 1 square. But it also adds another dimension to the chili, like the flavor or the taste of the chili. And if I don't have chocolate, either dark or milk chocolate, I actually use peanut butter. I use sugar last because it's just sweet. It doesn't really add flavor other than sweetness. This has sweetness and another flavor. Same thing with peanut butter. So do that, okay? The other thing, you get a half a cup of red wine. Now, yes, you can use red cooking wine, and you'd never want to drink it. So why would you want to put it in your chili and flavor your chili? So I use this deep and dark or regular black box Cabernet Sauvignon because it's dry. It's a dry red wine, but it has flavor and it has depth to it and it has fruits, like blackberries and cherries and even chocolate undertones. So this just adds even more dimension to the chili, and this is what makes it really good. And then I simply shake on top, like, it's not a measurement. I just kind of shake it in the pot. You'll see this turmeric, ground turmeric. And then just for fun, because this was on sale at Menards, they were trying to get rid of it. It was by the front door, and I got it really cheap. So I'm going to put in this jalapeno lime because I like things spicy, but lime is just another flavor that you can add. So this is what makes the chili really good. It's all these different spices and they're different, they hit different parts of your palate. So it's very complex and a very, I guess, dimensional chili. All right, one thing about peppers, I think my son taught me this. This is really cool. To cut a pepper, right after the curve at the top is where you cut it. And then you can simply get the 4 sections of the top off. And I don't like the white because I think you know that the white part of peppers is kind of harsh. And you just want to coarsely chop this stuff. And then here's the other thing. Turn it upside down and cut through the lines in the pepper, you know, the creases. And then you can, it's really easy to get rid of the white part of the pepper. Yes, I wish I could eat bread. I love sourdough. It is my absolute favorite bread, is sourdough bread. Okay, so I'm coarsely chopping this onion too. Hopefully not with my fingers. Oh no, this isn't done yet. I gotta do the jalapeno. I do cut these jalapenos in half. Like when I slice the jalapeno, then I cut it in half. But I do keep the seeds because I like the heat. I like the spiciness of the jalapeno. But if you don't, you can just get rid of the seeds and you'll get the flavor of the jalapeno and not the heat. So now we're going to heat the oil up on medium-high heat and put the oil in. I like garlic or jarlic. I don't know if it's a tablespoon, but I like garlic. I like to make sure the garlic's kind of spread out a little bit first instead of just clumped in the middle. And also, what was I going to say? I don't add any thickener. You don't need to. This is gotta be the thickest chili ever. I like to cook this chili. I used to cook it. I think all my kids even liked it. Okay. I'm doing this just in a little measuring cup because I'm going to use it for the wine later. We need the 4 teaspoons of chili powder. Got to get that going. And then 1 teaspoon each of the basil, oregano, and cumin. And don't forget, if you don't have the minced garlic or you don't have a garlic clove, just use a teaspoon of garlic powder. Just like the basil, oregano, and cumin, ground cumin. Now, ½ teaspoon of salt. Za'atar seasoning. Okay, that's it. I'm going to take the chocolate over there and do the chocolate with it, and same with the turmeric and this lime. All right, so let's rock and roll over here where the wine is. All right, I'm going to start throwing this stuff in here now. The chicken's just in salt and water, so I'm throwing it in. Let's see, dump this stuff in. And then here, there's only black beans and water in here, so there's a little bit of water in here, but not much. And then tomatoes. Shake this in. Little turmeric. And then the jalapeno lime. And Hershey's chocolate. Oh yeah, the wine. And now we just boil it for 5 minutes. I just gotta stir it up. So I gotta let it come to a roiling boil, and then I'll put it on simmer for 20 minutes. But I think if you can simmer it as long as you want. Okay, there's the rolling boil. So now I'm gonna turn this thing down to low. Stir it up one more time, but you see how thick it is? It is a very, very thick chili. And you keep the lid on tight or it'll really dry out. You don't want that to happen. 20 minutes of simmering, but I usually let it simmer a lot longer than that. What's up with the chili? That's a good question. Because it's been 20 minutes. Should I go look at it? Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Hey, when you make it, keep the lid tight. Don't crack the lid. Don't let the steam escape. Let it condense on the bottom of this, and then when you lift it, let it roll. Let the water go back into the chili, because it is a super, super thick chili.